Community solar is a lot like a coupon for electricity costs, meaning every time you pay your bill, you automatically have savings attached and everybody's happy. My name is Dakota Malone. I co-founded Community Solar Authority. We've unlocked access to over $35 million in future energy savings with the Community Solar program. We focus our time, energy, and effort on supporting large energy users in New York and Illinois so that they can enhance sustainability and lower electricity costs using the Community Solar program. It's ultimately state-level legislation that allows these anchor tenants or large energy users to subscribe to an available solar project, which is real infrastructure helping clean the energy grid. And in exchange for participating in that clean energy legislation, they get to keep a portion of the benefits. The program costs nothing to participate. You don't have to spend any CapEx, and you don't have to install a single solar panel. We've used this program, like I said, to unlock access to so much in future energy savings that we just make these videos to help people understand how it works, showcase the work we've done, and celebrate the wins with our clients as they keep rolling in. But there's actually more to community solar than meets the eye. By participating, you're actually supporting local jobs, promoting energy equity, displaying environmental stewardship, and of course, lowering electricity and enhancing your sustainability initiatives. So it's not just about participating to help your own organization, but really about a greater community benefit. Today's post is a simple before and after of what it looks like to receive community solar credits. We worked with this client, and in under 90 days, we were able to help them save over $35,000 a year using the community solar program. Again, it didn't cost them anything. Our team did all of the work. And if you want us to take a look at your organization to see if you're ready to implement community solar, you can go to communitysolarauthority.com to get started. First, I thought it might be useful to riff on this idea of community solar billing, specifically as it relates to UCB or utility consolidated billing, before I go ahead and show you these visuals on my screen. UCB makes it significantly easier to demonstrate the value of community solar because everything's happening in one place, which is the same utility bill that the customer is used to receiving. And so in this example, this is exactly what the client got. They signed up for UCB billing, which is not always available, but in this case it was. And so you'll actually see the charges on the bill where you see the credit that was applied, you see the credit that was collected back by the developer, and then you ultimately see their total savings for the month using the UCB billing model. The cool part about UCB is that instead of juggling two different bills every single month and trying to show your CFO the value of the credits hitting compared to what the bill you got was, everything, like I said, is done all in one place. So you literally look at the bill, you can see your charges from the utility for the month, and then down on a different line item, you can see your savings, and it makes it super easy to track. This means zero headaches trying to reconcile across multiple invoices. We've seen this streamlined approach accelerate the execution of community solar, especially from a facilities or even an accounting perspective, where they're like, hey, as long as we don't have to have an additional bill, or as long as we don't have to have an additional step to get these done and capture these credits, we're totally in. So that is a big benefit to UCB. Again, like I said, it's not always available everywhere, but in this case it was. It made it simple, and now I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. All right, guys, so I am pulling up the utility bill for our client. This is what it looked like for them before they were receiving community solar credits. I blew up the image on my screen so that you can see the bill, and this is typically what it looks like for National Grid customers. It showcases a standard utility bill with delivery charges from National Grid, which is the utility, of $23,812.69. Typically, a utility bill has three components. It's supply, delivery, and taxes. In this case, they were working with a third-party energy supplier, which totally works with community solar, but based on how that energy supplier bills them will determine how many bill credits we can apply. In this case, their taxes and their supply were billed separately by that retail energy supplier, and therefore we could only apply credits to the delivery costs for the customer. Now, I want to show you what it looks like with community solar credits applied. So just going to scroll down really quick, and as you can see, voila, this is a totally different outcome. So want to note that, first of all, this is a summer bill, and because the sun produces more energy during the summer than it does during the winter season, they received a massive $60,000+ production credit on this specific month. This credit was so large, in fact, that they only needed to apply about half of it, about $31,000, to completely wipe out their monthly utility bill as it relates to the delivery charges. The remaining credit that they received of that 60,000 will be rolled over. If you think of like old AT&T like rollover minutes, that credit will be rolled over into the following month, and they will continue to see credits through the rest of the year, with the end goal of everything leveling out on an average by the end of the year. At the bottom, you'll see two lines related to community solar, which are the CDG credit and the fee. Now, defining CDG, that is Community Distributed Generation, which is just a fancy word for this net metering program, the VEDER program through New York, and ultimately it's community solar, these off-site solar farms. The credit is the portion of the credit that was applied to the current bill, the $31,713, and this reflects 100% of the credit that was applied, not to the total rollover credit, but applied to this specific bill. The following line item is the CDG subscription fee. This isn't as scary as it sounds. With community solar, given that this client was able to enroll into a 10% discount, this CDG fee is simply 90% of that total credit, the 31,000. So 90% of that is what is getting sent back to the developer, because that is their portion of the credit. So they get 100% of the fee applied first. They get to keep 10%. 90% goes back to the solar developer, and all of it is consolidated onto the bill because of utility consolidated billing. So in this case, they were able to capture $3,171.71 in savings effortlessly. And there you have it. I love a good visual. I think it's a simple way to learn. It allows you to really see the before and the after of the community solar savings being applied. Our client was pumped to receive a bill. This was actually the first community solar credit that they had applied ever since they had signed up for the program. And so as their farm energized, they got this credit, and it was huge, and everybody was happy. So we love to see that. Obviously, utility consolidated billing makes it easy, where this true up process, making sure the developer gets their cut, making sure the client gets their cut, and making sure everybody's happy, is simple and seamless. And so I hope this video helps you understand the value of community solar, whether you're able to get on a UCB farm or a non-UCB farm. Again, it doesn't matter, because the credits work the same exact way. By participating in community solar, you can access lower electricity costs without spending any CapEx and without installing a single solar panel. Again, if you want to get into our community solar readiness assessment, which is a totally complimentary strategy call, we'll meet with your executive team, your facilities manager, your CFO, whoever's in charge of this at your organization, and we'll review the opportunity to make sure you're actually ready to implement community solar, and then we'll go out and do the entire thing for you. You can find me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Dakota Malone. I also encourage you to email me if you have any questions. That's D as in Dakota, Malone at communitysolarauthority.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode.